Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Mahalic, and today we're here talking with Emily Dinova about her new book, Veil of Seduction. Hi, Emily.
Hey, Katie, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Cool.
So I'm really excited to talk to you about being a writer, especially about your new book. And the first question I wanted to know is what inspired you to write this book?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Basically, I had run across an article back when Roosevelt Island was Blackwell Island, and there was a story of a reporter who had gone undercover to a woman's insane asylum, and in order to expose what was going on there and what was happening, and the conditions and all of these things.
Nellie
So
Bly.
yes, exactly. And I think there was actually a movie made about her stories. The book she released, or the paper she released, was called 10 Days in a Madhouse. And that was kind of my jumping off point. Another really key inspiration was actually a conversation that I had had with my therapist in regards to toxic relationships, narcissism as like a personality disorder, and then kind of trying to connect this idea of mental health to the mythology of certain creatures.
Excellent. I love it. I know a lot about Nellie Bly. I've researched her for a long time. How much do you feel the character is based on Nellie Bly?
It's not her. My character is a little less, she's young, she's kind of impressionable. And that was lending itself to what I was trying to accomplish with, this idea of a young woman and a whirlwind of, romance and mystery and mystique. And so, no, I don't think she is quite as fantastically aware and strong as Nellie, but I think she eventually gets there. And I think the decisions that she has to make for the greater good are what propels her to that level. So I actually never thought about it like that, but yeah, I'm sure there is certainly some inspiration in there.
I'm curious in regards to the themes of your book. It sounds like mental health continues to be a theme. What other themes are inside this story in particular?
So another like really contentious point for me, I think the thing that I really wanted to hammer home was what I kind of mentioned earlier, was toxic relationships, right? How we view romance, how we view love, how that has been injected into our society throughout this like bad boy trope, like the longevity of historical romance, and how that has affected and shaped women's perceptions of relationships and of what these sort of situations occur, and how they affect people's health. So I really wanted to play with that concept. My novel, I suppose, is a bit deceiving in a way, but I think it's really important for women to have another perspective outside of this, these relationships that are all consuming and romantic, and seem very intense. And I think that that has been so shoved down our throats in society. And I actually wrote a blog article about it, called "Are We Done Romanticizing the Bad Boy Trope?" And kind of following the through line of history, and if this has always existed, if we've ever needed it, how it's benefited us, why it's this way. And that was another thing I really wanted to explore and kind of flip on its head, because I feel like there's just too much of it, and not enough explanation as to why it exists and what we actually use it for.
So this brings me to my next question. How personal is this story for you?
I was previously in an extremely abusive relationship, which was one of the things. I wouldn't say it was the main thing, but it was certainly part of my reason for entering into therapy, seeking help, trying to better understand my own behavior and my actions, to why I ended up in this situation. I got curious. And I think that's, that curiosity led me to continue my research and my understanding, and eventually inspired this work.
When a reader, especially a woman or someone that identifies with the female protagonist in this story. Do you feel like it gives the reader an opportunity to kind of find a way to move past um, society's idea of this bad boy trope kind of being the all alluring, entity for these romance stories?
I don't know if it necessarily gives them the tools or the insight to move past it, but I think it gives them the ability to, or the opportunity to become aware of it. That you can be tricked. And my book, I don't want to give too much away, but it kind of, it plays with you in a way that, someone of the nature of my character, my other characters, some of them would happen in real life. So I've had a few people who have, read it or read versions as I was going through the process, who were very upset with me of feeling like I duped them in some way. And that was kind of the effect that I was going for.
Okay. Do you feel like being a writer is a blessing or a curse?
Both. Both. Sometimes I write something, well, I mean, as a writer, you're always questioning, you're always saying, is this good enough? Is this what I'm trying to say coming across? It's euphoric in a sense when you feel like you've really got something, or you read back a paragraph and you're like, I didn't write that. That's so good. That couldn't have been. But it's also it's back and forth, even through the whole editing process with this. I was like, this is horrible. I can't publish this. And then I'm like, oh, this part's really good, and so I think it's a blessing and a curse. It's a calling more than anything. I think if you have it in you, if you have a story to write, even if you think it's not important or it doesn't matter, still just write it, because at the end of the day, I feel like art is a vehicle for social change. It's there to help others, and if you can affect one person with your writing and help someone in any way, then I say go for it.
Emily, thank you so much for speaking with us today. Look for Emily Dinova's new book, Veil of Seduction, at henrygraypublishing.com or ask for it at your neighborhood bookstore. Until next time, happy reading.